guys, welcome back to our channel, Britt and Russ. So today it's just Britt. Russell is on the flip side of the camera, and we're trying to do things a little bit differently today. I'm actually going to do a face mask and chit chat. Does that rhyme? Probably not. But anyways, so I'm just going to put a face mask on and tell you a little story. So we're going to have story time. So I'm going to use a Lush mask. It's called Mask of Magnanimity. I don't know. I don't know what it's called. I don't know how to pronounce it, but I will show you. And I've used this mask a couple times. It smells really good. It's really minty. It kind of looks like chocolate mint. Mint chocolate chip ice cream. Yeah, it looks like mint chocolate chip ice cream. It smells like mint. So, and it's one of my favorite masks. So we're just gonna use this, and I am going in with my fingers because it's like chunky. It has like let's see, it has, there's beans in it, and like it's good for your face. I can't really see because I don't have a mirror and I'm using my viewfinder. So anyways, oh, dropping beans on me. So I just wanted to come on and touch base with you guys. Our last video was about me breaking my foot, basically. And a lot of things have changed. Except for my foot is still broken. It's still very much so broken. But, so it's been about 5 weeks since I broke my foot. And, so I had a little bit of a scare. I actually almost died. I laugh because I don't know what else to do. It's either laugh or cry, right? So I laugh. But I did almost die. I broke my foot, and I was trying to ease my way back from like the air cast, which I showed you guys in the last video, that huge cast, into like a regular boot, because my calf was hurting so bad. Like I couldn't even put the boot on. I couldn't wear the big air cast. It hurt so bad. And when I saw my orthopedic surgeon, I asked him, I said, you know, hey, my calf is hurting really bad. I don't know, is this normal? And he's like, you know, what are you worried about? Blood clots? And I'm like, well, I mean, is that a possibility? And he's like, no, you don't look like you have blood clot. My leg wasn't swollen. And I'm relatively young. I'm 27. So, and you know, and it's a minor break in my foot. It's like a break of my fifth metatarsal, right underneath of it. I mean, it's a really good fracture, but it's not like I've broken my leg. So I was concerned about blood clots. He was not. So it turned out, I went home, I iced it, I did heat, and nothing really seemed to help except for taking medicine. So I would take Motrin and Tylenol, and it hurt worse than my foot hurt. And I kid you not, like there was just days where I just laid and I was just like, I'm in so much pain. And I'd ice it with like frozen broccoli and put the heating pad on it, and nothing seemed to help. So, you know, I got up and I decided to put on the boot that the hospital gave me. Now, if you remember in our last video, my orthopedic surgeon and his team were like, what kind of boot is this? This is like a horrible boot, you shouldn't wear it. But it was the only thing that I could get on my foot that was comfortable enough for me to walk around. It's actually a lot lighter than the air cast. So I just assumed because the air cast was so heavy that I had strained my muscle. And it's common when you know, play sports, or a muscle strain is common. Like you can get a muscle strain from almost anything. So I just figured, okay, I strained my muscle, and he kind of co-signed like, yeah, it could be a muscle strain, you know, ice it, you'll be fine. So about almost 2 weeks go by, and it's like the Friday before I'm supposed to see him. So I typically see him on Tuesdays. So it's like 2 weeks in between. So I was supposed to see him on like the following Tuesday, but it was a Friday, and we went to Home Goods to get pillows for our couch, and we found a really nice mirror. What else did we do? Like racking my brain trying to figure out what else we did that day, but I can only remember Home Goods. So we went to Taco Bell, we ate some tacos in the car, and then I stopped by my parents' house to pick up a package, and I talked to my dad for a little while, and I was perfectly fine. I was perfectly fine, and I want to stress that to you because this is the scary part of the whole story, is that I was perfectly fine. My dad was like, wow, we just talked to her. She was fine. We get back to our house. I get out of my car and I'm walking up to the sidewalk, and I have this pain in the middle of my chest. And it is like something I couldn't describe to you. I don't even know how to describe it. It felt like someone had set my esophagus, I can't even say esophagus. Like someone had set my throat and my chest on fire, like, and it was a pain, and it started right here, and it grew and grew and grew, and then all of a sudden I just said to Russell, like, I'm going to pass out, and I did. So I passed out, and of course I was out for almost 3 minutes on the sidewalk, and of course I figured that out after I woke up, and thank God that I woke up, because the way that Russell described it is that I kind of stopped breathing. So he called the ambulance, he called my family, he called his family, and everyone's, you know, rushing to get to me. And I did wake up outside on the sidewalk, which, thank God. So when I get in the ambulance, I pass out again. And that time I was out for like a minute and a half. And so to the hospital, and it's a chain of University of Maryland hospital. So it's it's like a little baby hospital. It's not a little baby hospital. It's like a smaller hospital. So I spent some time in there, and then that's where we figured out that I had pulmonary embolisms, which is essentially blood clots in your lungs. So with that, they put me on blood thinners, and they did a bunch of scans, and they were monitoring me. So I think it was probably like 2 in the morning, a nurse or a doctor, I'm really not even sure who she was or what she was. We had a short conversation at 2 o'clock in the morning, and I was tired, and I was just like, I don't know what's going on. Okay, I have blood clots, give me blood thinners and I'll be fine. That is not the case. So this wonderful, amazing doctor or nurse or whomever she was, Angel, she came in and said, something is not right, and we're going to send you to shock trauma. So essentially, the nursemaid, I'm pretty sure she's a doctor. I'm not going to call her a nurse because I'm pretty sure she's a doctor. So the doctor made the call, and she said, you are going to move to shock trauma within the hour. So then I got scared, because she also said, you're lucky to be alive. You almost died on that sidewalk. You almost died. So, and then she explained to me what happened. So the pain I felt in my chest was a huge blood clot that had moved from my calf. I still have a blood clot in my calf. Had a blood clot in my calf, and it moved from my calf to my chest, my lungs. And I hit the sidewalk so hard outside that it broke it into a bunch of tiny blood clots that are throughout my veins now. Too many to count. Nobody from anybody's team could tell me how many there were, and I'm not even gonna ask anymore. So too many to count. So essentially what she said is that is why I was able to breathe again, and why my heart was able to pump again. So that's what I learned at Upper Chesapeake. Then they moved me to shock trauma. Now we get to shock trauma, and I'm worried. I'm worried, to say the least. I'm scared, I'm worried, and I'm trying to be strong, because my poor husband was very scared. My mom, my dad, my sister, my brother flew in from Oregon, and his partner, they flew in from Oregon, and they were all worried and scared, and I'm trying to stay strong because I don't want them to know that I'm scared. So they take me to shock trauma, and in shock trauma, they do an echocardiogram of my heart. And this is the first time that anyone told me that I should be concerned about my heart. So my heart rate when I was in Upper Chesapeake was like 107 when I was laying down and I was sleeping, which is not a healthy heart rate when you're resting. It's not healthy at all. And I didn't know, of course I didn't know, I don't know very much about heart rates. I know that it's elevated when you're exercising or moving around, and it's not when you're laying down. So I get to shock trauma. They hook me up to everything, and then they do an echocardiogram of my heart. So essentially, the right side of my heart was enlarged, and it was the size of the left side of my heart. And it couldn't pump any blood into my lungs because the blood clot had blacked up the blood to my heart. So then it gets real scary, because when you start talking about your heart is enlarged and it's not pumping the right way. And so it's funny, because it's not funny. So I'm a preschool daycare provider, and I take CPR every year. I think it only lasts for a year. And the one thing that always sticks out to me in these classes is the firefighter always talks about the heart. He's always like, your heart needs to go lub-dub, 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 lub-dub. Right, left, or left, right, I'm not sure. But lub-dub, lub-dub, lub-dub. My heart was not going lub-dub, lub-dub. It was going lub-dub-dub-dub-dub-dub-dub, lub-dub-dub-dub-dub-dub-dub. And it was just trying to compensate for not being able to get the blood out. So, and if you know anything about the heart, your right side of your heart only pumps to your lungs. The left side of your heart pumps to the rest of your body. So imagine the shock that I feel when someone says, like, the right side of your heart is almost the size of the left side of your heart. That is scary. So then they start telling me, don't worry, it's okay. We have all of the things you need here at Shock Trauma. If your heart, you know, if your heart gives out, if your lungs give out, we can put you on a defibrillator and all these things. And I'm like, okay, so I'm very close to heart failure. I was very close to heart failure. And I don't even know. You don't even know what to say. You're just kind of like, well, I almost died. So I spent about 2 days in shock trauma, where they were monitoring my heart rate and blood thinners, and eventually my heart rate did start to come down, which is great, which means the size of my heart was coming down. But then we had to worry about the blood clots in my calf. So I still have blood clots in my calf today. I still have blood clots in my lungs today. But what they were concerned about is that the blood clots in my calf not moving to my lungs. So I had to undergo a procedure where they put a filter in my leg to keep the blood clots from moving to my lungs. So with all that happening, I go down, they take me to the OR, they put this filter in, and then we start having conversations about what to do next. And essentially they were saying, okay, so we're gonna go in, we're gonna remove these blood clots so that your heart can function normally. So then I get nervous and then I'm like, oh god, another surgery. Okay, that's fine. If this is what I need, great, I'll go through it. But luckily my heart kind of got back to normal, and they still kept me, they moved me to the SICU, which is the surgical unit, because they were still keeping me on standby to have surgery. And they were keeping me very close to just going at any moment. Like, we're gonna go right now, you need surgery. And if any of you have ever had blood clots in your lungs, you know the surgery where they go in and it's basically like, they take, I don't know what they're called, like a wire, and they just kind of they break the blood clots up or pull them out or whatever they do. But they were very, well versed in a lot of things, and I'm just kind of like, whatever you guys think is right, I'm gonna go with it. So I spent, how many days did I spend in the surgical unit? 1 or 2?
The second floor?
Yeah. No, yeah, when we came down from shock trauma.
I think it was 2.
So I spent 2 days in the SICU, and I couldn't eat, I couldn't drink anything, and praise the Lord for a nurse who gave me some ice. Thank you, girl, because I was thirsty. I wasn't even really hungry, but I was thirsty. My lips were so dry. I was on oxygen. I had oxygen in my nose, and I just wanted to drink something. And they were like, no, you can't drink anything. So the girl gave me some ice, and I can't thank her enough for the ice. I don't know if that happened in shock trauma, and I don't know if it happened in SICU, but wherever she was, she gave me some ice. And girl, thank you. My lips were so dry, and I was so thirsty. So at some point, they knew that I wasn't going to have to go to surgery that day, and they did let me eat. And then the next day, they were like, no eating, you're done, don't eat anything else. So we were kind of on edge the whole time. It was just kind of like the unknown, and you just don't know. And the doctors are kind of just playing, not playing it by ear. They had a solid plan. They had a really solid plan. They kept us in the loop of their plan, but they were just kind of like, if your heart can get back to normal on its own, then we're not going to do surgery on your blood clots. So, and that is essentially how I left the hospital. So my heart went back to normal. Well, it is not back to normal, actually. It is close to normal. And we're getting there. Yeah, we're getting to normality. So they put me in the recovery unit, basically, and I spent just the night there, and the next day I got to go home. So we spent Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, and I got to leave the hospital on Wednesday. And my poor husband had to celebrate his birthday in the hospital. My poor Russ. But he did get presents. So we're going to celebrate his birthday at some point when I'm feeling, you know, going out and celebrating. We're going to celebrate his birthday because he did have to celebrate in the hospital. But when I got home, things just kind of felt really odd. I felt like, and I don't think people talk about this enough. I don't think people talk about life-changing events and how they make you feel afterwards, you know. I don't think they talk about how you're supposed to feel afterwards, and I don't think there is a you're supposed to feel a certain way. So for me personally, I was very happy on Wednesday. I cried happy tear, joy, happy, joy, tears. When I hugged everyone that I touched, I cried because I was just so happy and so blessed to be home, because I didn't think that I was going to be home. In all honesty, I thought I was going to go in a heart failure and die. That's just what I thought. But I didn't, and I was so happy to be home and to be with my family and to just be able to be out of the hospital. But then reality sets in, and then you kind of get to this point where you're like, okay, well, what now? You know, I have a blood clot specialist, I have an orthopedic surgeon, I have nurses that call me once a week to make sure that I'm okay. So I have a team of people that are taking care of me in a sense, but no one tells you what you're gonna feel emotionally. So I wanted to come on here today and talk not only about, I didn't just want to come on here and talk about blood clots in your lungs or blood clots in your calf or the dangers that you have when you break a bone, regardless if it is a small bone in your foot or not. You can still get a blood clot from that. It is so important, and it is important to listen to your body. And even though I did listen to my body and I asked my orthopedic surgeon, you know, things happen, people make mistakes. But I want anyone who's watching this that has a broken foot, a broken anything, or you're just a little bit sedentary, you need to listen to your body. Listen to your body. I can't really speak on the clots in my chest. I had a little bit of chest pain a couple of days before, but I honestly thought that it was indigestion, so I didn't really think anything of it. It actually stopped, and then it just came back all of a sudden, and I passed out. But what I really want to touch base on is the feeling of not knowing how you feel. And that's literally the only way that I can describe it. I don't know how I feel. I burst into tears randomly. Like, I am so surprised that I got to film this whole video without crying. I'm so surprised at myself. And then it's not necessarily that I'm proud of myself, because I don't think anything's wrong with crying. I think that crying is a good release of emotions. But I have just been bursting into tears randomly. I have just been crying. And the first time it happened, I was I was in the bathroom and I was looking for my concealer, because I just wanted to do my makeup. I just wanted to feel normal again. I just wanted to feel normal. So I couldn't find my concealer, and then I was like, when is the last time I did my makeup? It was that Friday that I had passed out on the sidewalk. And then I just burst into tears. I just burst into tears because I felt overwhelmed. I felt blessed. I felt scared. I felt nervous. And it's just so many emotions pushed on you, and you just feel like, oh my God, I don't know what to do. So you just cry. And I know that everyone handles everything differently, and they're supposed to. But dying, almost dying, grief, and I feel like you have to grieve what your life was before. My life is now very different. I have to take a blood thinner every day. I have to be careful not to bump into things so that I don't bruise, so that I don't get internal bleeding. I can't just, you know, run around with my dogs downstairs because I can't bump into a chair, because that could cause internal bleeding. So my life has changed. And then I broke down. We went to go see Captain Marvel, because I just needed, you need to get out of the house, and I wanted to do an activity where it was okay. My heart rate wasn't going to be crazy. A movie is perfect. You get to sit down and you get to watch a movie. I forgot to take my blood thinner, and I flipped out. We left the movie 20 minutes in, and I'm like in tears in the car, and Russell's like, why are you crying? And I'm like, I literally don't know. And every time he asks me why I'm crying, I'm like, I don't know. I just, beats me. I don't know. And I think it irritates him, because he's like, you have to know why you're crying. And I'm like, I don't know. But I just want everyone to know how thankful and how blessed I am to be here. And I don't want anyone to take this lightly. Like, if you have a pain or you are concerned about something that's happening in your body, you need to speak up, and you need to advocate for yourself. And I get to say that I am not clot free. I'm not even close to clot free. I am very aware of that. And I can't wait to say, and I'm going to come back on here and I'm going to say, I survived the clot. I can't wait to say that. I can't wait. I just can't wait to say that I survived the clot. And at some point I will get to say that. Today is not the day. I thank everyone who prayed for me, who called me, who texted me, who came to see me. I thank you all so very much, because that is what kept me going. Prayer in numbers changes things. I don't even know how to tell you. I thank you guys so much. I am eternally grateful forever and ever, to friends, family, people who just saw Facebook posts, people I don't even know probably were praying for me, and I appreciate that. So with that being said, I will give you an update on my foot, because, you know, this is like an updated version of that video. So my foot is still broken, and it is actually discolored. It is still swollen, and I'm almost 6 weeks into this break. It is mostly to do with the blood clot. My foot is not healing the way that it probably should be, because the blood clot is in my calf. But that is an update on my foot, and that is my how I almost died story. So please feel free to comment if you have questions. If you yourself are going through something like this and you just want to talk, if you've been through this and you just got some advice from me, comment, please let me know. I want to know. I need a community right now. I think everybody needs a community at some point. So now is my time. But thank you guys so much for watching and tuning in. And oh, just by the way, this face mask is amazing. I'm going to go clean it off. And if you want more details about this face mask, you can also comment that below and I'll tell you all about it. But thank you so much for watching, and I will see you guys in the next video.